Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name is Just Vader, and in today's video, we're going to be ranking every mini-pass in Fortnite history from worst to best. Now, just quickly, before we dive into the video, I just want to quickly say these are my own opinions, so if you think something should be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, make sure to leave a comment down below. But hey, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, so any help would be greatly appreciated. But you know what? Without further ado, let's just dive straight into the mini-pass ranking. And starting off this list, sitting all the way at the number 8 spot, released all the way back in Chapter 4, Season 3, is the Jujutsu Kaisen mini-pass. Honestly, this mini-pass was entirely forgettable. I actually forgot this was even added to the game. I mean, it just didn't add anything special. I mean, we look at the items that it brought in. It brought in the straw doll technique, which, do I even really need to say anything about this? It has to be a contender for the worst mythic in Fortnite history, you know? You would have more luck going in to pickaxe your opponent than using this thing. I mean, that thing was doing barely any work, you know, it was doing 20 body damage, it was doing 50 explosion damage, and that's even if you managed to hit them with the thing. You did also have the hollow purple, which was, you know, it was actually a pretty decent weapon, and it would have been incredibly cool if the literal exact same thing wasn't done 1,000 times better with the Deku Slime mythic released in Chapter 4, Season 1. Now, of course, the actual rewards, the ones that came with the pass, they were alright. You had the Yuji Itadori outfit and the New glider. Apologies if I'm butchering the pronunciations, but I mean, honestly, apart from those two items in this pass, the other unlocks were just incredibly forgettable, and it definitely wasn't worth buying the whole pass just for a single skin. You know, you guys gotta remember, this thing was 1,000 V-Bucks, you know, this was the same price as a battle pass, and all you were getting out of it were a few mediocre sprays and one really good outfit that would be sold in the shop at a later date. Listen, I'm sorry if this is your favorite show, but this is by far the most mediocre mini pass of all time, and that's why it's at the number 8 spot on this list. And following that one up, coming up next at the number 7 spot, is one that I really, you know, I had high hopes for, but honestly got let down by, and it is the South Park mini pass. Now, hey, listen, before I slander this, I just want to say I literally haven't even seen a single clip of South Park. I know nothing about this show, so, you know what, maybe this was the best thing ever. I don't know, guys. It just felt really mediocre, and it barely added anything new to the game. The pass itself, it was just really mediocre. Again, you know, you had the end reward being literally just a pickaxe that nobody was going to use. There was literally 0 point to grind that pass. It was so unbelievably mediocre. I mean, of course, you did have a couple of items added to the game. You had Kenny's respawn token, which was basically just a reskin of the revive token. But I don't know, guys, you know, let me know in the comments down below if you had the same experience with this thing, but it felt incredibly rare. I think I only saw it like a maximum of 3 times the whole month. You did also have the Cheesy Poofs item, which was actually pretty good. It was basically just a better Chug Jug. Well, kinda, you know, this one could only heal health, not shields, but it had 300 health stored, so it was kind of like a portable stack of medkits. But I gotta say, the real star of the show was definitely the Stick of Destiny. I mean, this thing was hilarious. I mean, you could literally just throw a stick down and force a storm to close around you. That was how this item worked. And you could do so many funny things with this item, like you could place it in the ocean, force everybody to fight in the water for the final storm, or, I don't know, place it on a mountain and pick everyone off from the cliffs. Yeah, I mean, this item, it for sure carries this event pass. It was by far the best bit about this whole thing, and it was super fun. Oh yeah, you also had the conversion of Wonky Land to Cartman Land. They were basically the same location. I didn't even notice at first. Honestly, it was just kind of a really basic location, and I'm very indicative of this whole pass as a whole. Literally everything they added just felt reheated nachos. I don't know, man, this one really had potential. It had so much potential, but it barely had enough content to last how long it lasted, and that's why it's all the way at the number 7 spot on this list. But hey, you know what? Coming up next at the number 6 spot on this list is actually a really underrated one in my opinion, and it is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mini pass. And honestly, this thing was insane, you know? I mean, the skins you got were amazing, the items you received were really high quality. I honestly have no complaints about the pass itself. It was pretty much perfect. I mean, the Shredder skins, you know, you had normal Shredder and then you had Super Shredder. They're some of the coolest skins in the game, you know, full stop. It was just an insane lineup. I mean, content-wise, of course, course, you had the re-edition of the drift boards. It did have fuel on it, but you know what? It was still insane. It was still the drift board. It is one of my favorite movement items of all time. Not scratch that. It's my favorite movement item of all time. I mean, teaming up this at a season with the Prime Reaper sniper rifle was just an insane combo. I cannot believe they even went forward with it. You also had the 4 new TMNT mythics. I'm not going to touch on these for too long because they were literally all just the same item. If you want to know what they were like, they were kind of just a nerfed kinetic blade. They didn't go as far. They didn't do as much damage. It also added back the pizza party healing item. And I gotta say, it's honestly one of my all-time favorites. It's one of the best healing items in Fortnite history. It's incredible in squads, and it's definitely a huge plus for this mini pass. I mean, of course, you also had special vending machines, you know, which would actually hold these items inside of them. And it just meant that these items, you know, they weren't scarce, which is definitely a big issue I had with the South Park mini pass. I mean, this pass, it did what it had to do, you know, it could have done a little bit more, but for what it was, and that was a very much needed content boost in the middle of Chapter 5 Season 1, it was pretty fun, and it more than deserves to be sat where it's at on this ranking. Alright, and coming up next, sitting all the way at the number 5 spot, introduced in Chapter 5 Season 2, it is the Avatar Mini Pass. Now, this was actually really good. This is definitely the point of the list where the passes start becoming really, really, really good. And yeah, honestly, the pass itself was really, really good as well. You had Aang as the skin. I don't know if it's Aang, don't know if it's Ong, don't know if it's Ung. But honestly, what a go-to choice for the skin of this pass. You know, some of these passes definitely suffer from random Joe-itis, where they just kind of stuff some random geezer in the pass and save all the good skins for the item shop. But no, the main character of the show was in this pass, and it was insane. But honestly, outside of the pass, this was just kind of great as well, you know? Like, you had the Avatar mythics that got added, you had firebending, which, you know, it was just kind of mid, it was kind of like a really slow melee item, and if you guys know anything about melee items, they've got to be fast, they've got to pack a punch, and this thing did neither of those things. You also had airbending, which was, you know, pretty much useless compared to everything else. You had a slow throwable rock, and you could summon like a defense wall every 20 seconds. I will say this, there is one saving grace for the content that was added in this update, which was airbending. Airbending was incredible. I only really had one issue with it, and it's that it made you a massive target. You know, you're a bright white circle on the very grim and the very like realistic Chapter 5 map. I mean, that's literally the only issue I had with it. But what was incredibly stupid from Epic Games, and I don't understand the thought process behind this whatsoever, is that they actually removed all of the seasonal mythics and items to make room for these new items. It honestly still boggles my mind. Overall, you know, this could have been an all-timer mini pass. It could have been one of the best of all time, but I think they really fumbled at the last second getting rid of all the Greek mythics. And unfortunately, it's just fallen down the list. And coming up next at the number 4 spot on this list is the first ever mini pass, and it is the Dragon Ball Z mini pass. Now listen, yeah, I mean the pass itself, it was actually pretty mediocre, you know, it was completely free, but it only had a selection of sprays and emotes. It was pretty clear this pass was just trying to encourage you to buy the pack that was in the item shop. But where the real meat and potatoes of this pass come in is with the content it brought to Battle Royale when it released. Like, I mean, the event was so much fun, and even as a non-Dragon Ball fan, I think this is one of the best we've ever had. I mean, do I even need to mention its name? The Kamehameha was actually insane. I mean, I don't know how the item was ever in Battle Royale. I mean, that thing was doing like 300 damage to the body in like 2.5 seconds. You pre-nerf, you couldn't outrun it, you couldn't do anything against it. It was a menace. You also had the Mythic Cloud item, which was actually really, really cool. It's solid movement, it's kind of similar to the Witch Broom from Fortnite Mares, or something like the Silver Surfer Mythic from Chapter 2 Season 4. There was also a pretty cool handful of creative islands that would play full episodes of the show, which is pretty cool. And yeah, honestly, shout out to Epic Games for doing that. You know, there's for sure a kid who got into the show after seeing that. They weren't fortunate enough to pay for whatever service the show's on. It was honestly really, really cool of them, and I have huge respect for them working that one out. It's for sure one of the best mini passes of all time. There isn't all too much in it, but what it brought to the table was actually so generational. Like, I mean, if you go talk to anybody who played this thing, they will tell you how much fun it was. I mean, yeah, like I said, the pass itself, you know, it was free, but it also wasn't exactly that good. However, I just think there's 3 more mini passes on this list that have, you know, actually good items and have just as fun gameplay in them, and that's why it's at the number 4 spot on this list. But hey, coming up next at the number 3 spot is honestly one of my personal favorite mini passes of all time, and it is the Pirates of the Caribbean pass. Now, honestly, the items itself offered by this thing were, they were actually pretty good. Of course, you had the Captain Jack Sparrow outfit, and you had the skeleton style as a bonus for completing the pass, which was actually pretty cool. Also had some really fun emotes and items like the Cutlass pickaxes and the Jar of Dirt emote, which is one of my favorite emotes of all time. Like, I mean, this pass, it gave you basically everything you could have ever wanted from a Pirates of the Caribbean collaboration. I mean, as somebody who just watched the films for the first time ever last year, this pass literally feels like a dream come true for many fans. I mean, what more do you want? Even I bought this pass just because of how stacked it was, and I haven't even talked about the content this thing added to the game. I mean, you had the return of the cannons, obviously being a whole pirate theme. I think this is the first time they came back since Season X. They're always a welcome addition, even though they're not the best movement item in the game, they're still really fun. You also had the Flintlock added back, which is one of my favorite guns of all time. I mean, it did kind of get nerfed, it had the bullet drop mechanic, but even then it wasn't that noticeable. I mean, how often are you going to be using this thing from far away? You're not going to. It's a Flintlock, it's movement. You also had the ship in a bottle item, which I'm going to say it's super mediocre. Just use Nitro Fist, man. Nobody was using this thing. It was dreadful. You did actually have a Lazy Lagoon reskin, it was in the middle of the map. I believe it was called Shipwreck Shallows, and it was an incredible location. I was dropping there basically every single match. It was so much fun, and I loved it to bits and pieces. You also had the literal Lazy Lagoon ship hidden on the right side of the map, which was super cool, if you wanted to drop there, you could. I mean, listen, with a pretty much perfect mini pass and some amazing content to mess around with in-game, and I'm pretty happy with this pass. It's definitely a smaller scale one, it wasn't exactly like mind-blowing, but it was still insanely fun for what it was, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. And following that one up, at the number 2 spot in this list, it's simply one of the best mini passes in Fortnite history, and it is the Star Wars event pass. I mean, this thing was insane. I mean, it introduced, the whole modern lightsabers mechanic, where instead of just being kind of like basic melee items, trying to just hit people, it introduced the different powers you could use with this thing, like the whole rock throwing abilities, the force push, and the lightsaber throw. I mean, guys, I know we're used to it at this point, but it was actually huge back in the day. It felt mind-blowing seeing a Fortnite weapon do that. But honestly, guys, I think with the case of the Star Wars mini event, it's almost the exact opposite of the Dragon Ball Z pass, where unlike, how that one had a really, really mediocre pass and it had absolutely generational items, where this one shines was the rewards that the pass offered to you, Unfortunately, I do believe this one was the first paid pass, but holy crap, the rewards this thing gave out were insane. I mean, even just talking about, the free section of the pass, if you got to the very end of it, you would get given a free Clone Trooper skin. Because it was free, you'd see tons of them. It was a literal clone army. It worked so well for what the skin was. You also had a crap ton more free rewards, like you had the clone wrap and the backpack, as well as some really cool loading screens and emotes. I mean, on the paid track as well, you had 3 more clone trooper variants. I believe you had the Wolf Pack and the Coruscant Guard and Ahsoka's troopers. And on top of that, you also had the Darth Maul skin, for getting to the end of the paid version of the pass. I mean, this thing was way more than worth it for what it was. This one offered more than enough to be worth the 1,000 V-Bucks price. I mean, of course, looping back to items, it also brought the E11 blaster and added the brand new DC-15, which was actually cracked. Listen, I have so many fond memories of this mini pass, if I could, I would go back to it in a heartbeat, and I think it more than deserves to be sat where it is on the list. It's simply one of the best of all time. The rewards you got from the pass were actually insane, and the gameplay this thing offered was even better. But as you guys may have noticed, it's not at the number 1 spot. So, what is? And sitting all the way at the top of the list, all the way at the number 1 spot, it's the one, it's the only, it is the most wanted mini pass. I mean, this thing was insane. This is easily the best we've ever had. I mean, it felt like a literal new season right slapped in the middle of Chapter 4 Season 1. I mean, do I even need to mention, it added the heisted exotics, which are still some of the best items in the game to this date. I mean, if you've had a chance to use this in Reload, you guys know how strong the Maven Accelerant Shotgun is. You also have the exotic Blink Mag, the heisted explosive assault rifle. Some of these items are the best of all time, and it's just insane they were casually dropped, just like right in the middle of a season, just with absolutely zero warning. It also added the mini vaults across the map that you could take on and unlock, and inside of these vaults, they had some of the best items of all time. Like, I mean, they would spawn like golden slurps and the mythic havoc pump, which is easily the strongest shotgun in Fortnite history, full stop. Of course, the main focus point of this mini pass was the introduction of the heat mechanic. I believe it was kind of like the more vaults you opened and the more eliminations you got throughout the match, the higher this bar would go. I believe on the first heat marker, you'd get more bars from your opponents. On the second heat bar, you'd get faster movement speed and you'd start to regenerate health. And by the time you got to the fourth one, you know, you were regenerating literally every single drop of health that you had, and your movement speed would be increased by 25%. And especially combined, you know, with tactical sprinting, which already doubled your movement speed. I mean, you could literally jog around the map in less than 2.5 minutes. Of course, you did have a couple of negatives to this thing, which would be the fact that, like, if you got to a high enough level, you would actually get marked on the map and people could hunt you down. And of course, obviously, all the NPCs, like the bosses and stuff, would just aggro on sight instead of letting you walk around them for a little bit and plan things out. I mean, you also had some incredible items. You know, you had the gold-blooded ace outfit, you had the cash stash backbling, you had the Vault Guardian pickaxe. It's just insane to me that it barely lasted 2 weeks, you know? It was such a cool event. It's simply the best mini event Fortnite has ever made, and it more than deserves to be sat at the #1 spot on this list. Alright everybody, thank you so much for sticking all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're well on the way to 1,000 subscribers, so any help is appreciated. Also, just quickly, we do have a Discord server. If you want to join that, make sure to click the link in my description. We have tons of fun mini games, we have an amazing community, and I can't wait to see you guys there. But hey, at the end of the day, all you're really gonna do is stay safe, drink some water, and have a fantastic day. Bye bye!